Hello everyone out there, it's HK Fanatic. I've had to switch over to another camera because my reliable and trusty Jazz, which I've had for about the last 3 or 4 years, has pretty much decided to give up the ghost. And unfortunately this one just doesn't light up as bright as the other, but it'll have to do until I can find another replacement for the Jazz camera. Just wanted to do a quick clip on my Romanian AK47 and the recent changes I've made to it, specifically the foregrip furniture and the pistol grip. I have placed a pistol grip from the bar soap style looking polymer one it had to the squad automatic weapon, which I like better. Has a compartment in there enabling you to store up some goodies. But back to the furniture here. I wanted to have something I could mount a decent red dot sight on, and originally I had this side mount which mounts to the plate on the left side of the receiver, and although it seems pretty sturdy, it actually seems sturdy. It actually flexes a little bit, even tightened down. So I mean, when I originally looked at that, I looked at the thickness and I'm thinking, well, there's no way this can have any flexibility, but it does. And it just kind of get in the way of removing the top plate. So I went ahead and, like I said, decided I went ahead and spent nearly $50 to get this MKS Teco foregrip. I'll get you the model number for it, but it's readily available. It's hold on a second. TP47. No. Give me a moment to put the old glasses on here. It's TP47L 1 or LRS. I think it's a 1RS. So anyway, just do a search for the MKS grips and you'll see. I'm sure it'll come up. Of course, on it I have mounted this BSA RD30 on there. It's just a temporary. I'm already going to get I have a couple of candidates in mind which I have to actually go and see which one I'm going to pick up. I'm either going to get the Vortex Strike Force, which I kind of taken a liking to. I've considered the BSA TR25, which I may get. Or that's not BSM, that's Bushnell. Yeah. And of course I've considered also the Lucid, which appeared to be a pretty decent red dot sight. Of course I have this other here. It's a Aimpoint Comp knockoff, which I've used, and although it has a decent dot in there, it's about a 4 MOA. It is a rip-off of the Aimpoint Comp, and this battery compartment houses 3 button cells, which I'm just not really crazy about those because they just do not give you the power, the red dot itself. So let me see if I can show you real quick here. I do like the controls. I mean, you can feel each position pretty well. Let's see if I can put it on the brightest and see if you'll get a picture here when I shine up through the lens here. I mean, you can see the dot pretty clear. And that's a good example of how, even though no matter what position you move your eye around, you're still going to have your red dot centered at where it's pointed. So anyway, but again, it's just a copy. And let me go ahead and shut this off. There are specific clicks for it. You can actually feel it, and I like that. It's made by NC Star. Probably picked this up for about 30 bucks, so you know, get what you paid for. Cheap Chinese knockoff. If you mount it with some decent hardware, this has a weaver rail fitting or mounting hardware on there, which all you have to do is get one that actually has standard size mil-spec rail set for that type of rail, and you can mount it on there just the same. Or you can do there's other fumble eye of them out there. There are other types of mounting hardware you can put on here to raise it up or lower it a little, depending on what type of weapon you're going to put it on. So now on the AK, I don't want it to rise it up. I don't want it to be too far up. I want it to be fairly low, because even in this position, this BSA RD30, I have to hold my head a little higher up back here than I normally would. And I saw that same gun shop where I picked up this rifle, a generic cheek rest you can put on here, which basically allows you to have a little bit of relief and get your chin up a little bit, and while still staying far enough back from this little piece, which if you're not careful will give you a little bump in the chin, which I've had happen a couple of times, but you know, it's neither here nor there. So, as I said, I originally picked up this rifle for about $389. It was on consignment at that same gun shop, and of course I hadn't changed anything on it really. Everything had been stock. The Tapco rear full in stock, the original pistol stock, and the crappy metal magazine it came with, which was a Rattler. So I fixed that by, of course, getting the Tapcos, which I have been very, very pleased with their performance. Now, recently I picked up these Pro Mag 20 round plastic, I shouldn't say plastic, composite magazines. Now, again, I know some people are saying about these, the problem is, well, these feed lips just aren't going to last. They're not going to last. They're crappy. They're polymer. Yeah, I would like them to be metal. And there are some options out there, slightly more expensive ones you can pick up. I'd seen some from like Ramline and a few others. It's possible you could get several other options in it. But these are cheap. I think I paid $12 for this one. Pick up a couple, use them till they're no good, throw them away. And they're lighter than a standard magazine. Plus, with this 20 round configuration, I can carry more of these almost. I don't know, I'm going to have to fit them, see if they fit in my vest, how they fit in my standard vest. Maybe able to get away with having them stacked double and carry maybe 6 of them. So, anyway, it's yet to be tested, but it's 30 round brother has done well. So, again, with Tapco, you can't go wrong. Right out of the bag, they fit easily and easy to get into the magazine well once you have given yourself that, trained your muscles to be able to do it without thinking about it too much. And trust me, it helps to do that, because that way when you are in a tense situation where you have adrenaline pumping, any little thing can interfere with what you think would be a normally quick and smooth magazine change. For example, another point here, since I'm getting into it, this foregrip, which of course fits on the bottom rail really nicely, I still had to mount it as far forward as I possibly could to make sure that I would have enough clearance for working with the magazine, because as you know, you have to come up at an angle, and you want to make sure you have enough clearance in here so that you're not, having this happen, because you're going to be, running and gunning or whatever the situation is, and you're not going to think that first bring it up, then tilt it. Might be easier. You come up, just bring it up a little, then tilt it, and then rock it in. That way you can clear your foregrip. But again, you can train yourself to be prepared to deal with that situation. I'm glad I went with the foregrip, because I was shooting this thing Marine style. I like to tuck my hand up around there, because the front magazine makes a great pistol grip. I've always liked shooting a weapon that way ever since I was in the service. I got used to shooting at a lot of weapons like that, and I just tended to keep my hand away from the foregrip. I felt I could more snugly solid up the weapon to my shoulder this way, and so it kind of stuck. But for lefties, as I am, got this nice bolt the very front of your bolt here, where the actual handle is for allowing you to actuate the bolt, is right there, and it gets easy to just get relaxed and put your hand right here, and then here comes the bolt. Boom! It might catch your finger back. If you're lucky, it'll knock it out of the way, but you could catch here, and trust me, get pinned up between there and that, you will rip flesh off your finger, or worse, even when it does hit your finger, it will bruise your finger. So bear in mind, keep that thumb out of the way. For those of you other lefties who may have not experienced the pain of that situation, it'll only take one time and you won't do it again. As far as the rest, fit into the furniture was very easy. The only thing I required was a rubber mallet, which I had to give it a couple of taps here. Put it up at an angle and just make, you'll see the edge of the receiver, just tuck it up in there, give it a few taps at that angle so it starts to go in, then just push it up and boom. The top section is the section that covers your piston housing up here is held in place by these long screws, and the nuts are right here. It's the same thing for the other side. So it's really easy to get on there. It took me less than 10 minutes. The only thing I needed was a medium-sized quality crescent wrench. I used a Craftsman so that way I could hold the back of this plate while I removed the original twisted the original wooden grip off there. Again, like I said, I've got temporarily, I just mounted this BSA RD30. It's got a giant dot in there. I think it's 5 MOA if I'm correct. So you pay 20 something bucks for it, but it's functional. It works. You will hit the target. Again, when you have it mounted this far forward as compared to where it was mounted here, it was a little lower. You're going to have to take the consideration that you may have to put some wraps of, you can probably wrap cloth around your folding stock there to give you a little bit of a homemade cheek rest if you had to. But you can also buy ones. I've seen one that actually fits back here and has snaps on it, and it basically sits up, and you snap it and snug it up here, and it just sits right there, and it doesn't interfere with the folding of the stock. Of course, I may also get, I saw a real nice one from ATI that I'm thinking just replace the whole rear folding stock with that M4 style ATI rear stock. My stomach's growling, sorry about that. And so again, so far the amount I've spent, if you add up everything I've spent on the pistol grip, this foregrip I already had, so I don't consider that a loss. I took that off another gun, and I move it back and forth as I need it, because you don't got to worry about zeroing that. You just stick it where it works. Maybe make a mark on exactly where's the best place to put it, because again, you want it forward enough here so it won't interfere with the work of your magazine. But again, there's workarounds, those shortcuts you could train yourself to avoid running into that. And of course, like I said, I maybe digressing a little, but you can go to these 20 rounders and have plenty of room to not worry about even coming near that front foregrip. So other than that, installation was easy. I really didn't have any problems with that. The gun went back together pretty easily. Again, I spent about 50 bucks for the furniture up here, and $14 for the pistol grip. So about 70 bucks between these, and I've gotten 3 magazines and blister 20 rounders, so it's probably about 150 bucks I've pumped into the gun so far. So, and I don't feel too bad about that. Again, this foregrip I can use on something else. I can get another AK and still use these. So, if I get that VEPR I want to get, this stuff will all transfer over. So we'll see how the finances sit. One thing though, I could not reinstall the cleaning rod here, because the very back, and I should have checked this when I put it on, the back of the plate here, all I would have had to do was Dremel out a little section at the very bottom to make sure that I have enough clearance to allow that rod to go through. And it's no big deal for me, because I always keep a generic 30 caliber cleaning kit in slightly larger than a survival tin, which has the parts of the rod unthreaded. They fit in there wrapped up. The cleaning, the actual cleaning extensions that screw onto them. So I keep that in a small kit that I carry with me. So it'll provide cleaning for any military style rifle. And of course, with the proper cleaning tips, you can do the 7.92 by 5.7, whatever else you're gonna have to clean out in the field, possibly. So, like I said, considering what effort I've put into it, I've shot at least between 1,000 and 2,000 rounds out of this thing already, and I have had good performance out of it. The only problem I have is when these duds don't, these crappy rounds don't fire. Now what I want to do really is take, once I get this resituated with the sight I'm going to stick with, I want to go and get some quality ammunition, some Hornaday, and go out there and see how good I can actually get this thing to shoot. Really trying to get it to shoot well. So until that time, and of course I'll shoot some footage when I do that, we'll go ahead and come to a close on this session. So until next time, this is HK Fanatic, out.